Hi girls and welcome to grade 7 in. Today I am going to show you how to paint the leaves. This is what one of the learners painted, and isn't it beautiful? Okay girls, so you're going to say hello to the grade 7 in class now. Bye. Okay girls, so now we're greeting you. Here's grade 7 in. Hi. Hello, hello. There we go. Hi. There we go. Hello. Wonderful. Hi. Aren't their paintings looking beautiful? Hello. Lovely. There we go. Such stunning artworks. There we go.
Yes,
There we go. Excellent. Okay. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Okay, there we go. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. Okay. Right, girls. So today I am going to show you how to paint the leaves. And this might even be our last tutorial. Great. So girls, I sent a template home with you with the leaf design on it, which is the one that I have painted. But because of COVID, we are running out of time to complete these paintings, so we are now simplifying the leaves, the leaf design. So we're basically painting just big leaf and stem shapes, and then in between we are filling it up with different tones of greens. Great. Okay, so we're going to keep it quite simple. I'm using a 6B pencil for you to see, but I'm going to erase the dark lead a little bit because I'm going to paint these veins in yellow. And the yellow paint is a bit transparent, so I don't want the pencil to show through. So that's what we do. Keep it very, very simple. As you see, I've just put in 2 large veins, and this leaf does not have a lot of veins. Great, so I've put that leaf there. Then for this flower, I've drawn in another stem there. There we go. And then here, a leaf protruding from the stem, again in that lovely heart shape. There we go, upside down heart shape. And then we put in the zigzags afterwards. That is important because that is characteristic of the sunflower leaf. There we go. Okay, super duper. Right, girls. Sorry, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Let me just have a sip of water. Great. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, now we're carrying on with the veins. Very simple. There we go. In this case, less is more. Okay, and one on that side. Okay, and there's that leaf on the other side, and it's just behind, and then I'll put like 1 vein in. Right, now in these spaces in between, we can just like fill it up with shapes, like that could be a stem leading to another flower. There we go. So, and then we can paint these different bits of different tones and tints of green. There we can have a little ziggy-zaggy, but not too much. And if you want to maybe put another, as if there is a leaf, we'll just, okay, so there we go. And then, let's see, we could actually bring the sky down here, but perhaps let's just paint another leaf kind of shape going in that direction, and then we would paint a zigzag and there a vein. So you can do your own design. It's just the principle of different leaves and stems. See, so I'm just, okay, I'll make it go up like that, where the little point of the heart shape goes up. Okay, just to make it a bit interesting. Great. And then here, I can do another, if there's another stem, or that can be like a darker tone, or a zigzag. Right. And then we're keeping that. We don't want to make it too detailed. Right. So also now, for a lot of the girls, I have actually mentioned that they should just erase these buds because there is just no time for us to paint all of the buds anymore. But in case you have already painted the petals of the bud, we will here then also just put a little leaf. Remember, it's like that shape there. And we're actually just even going to put one vein in there. And then some ziggy-zaggies. There we go. Great. And then this side we can also put in, and it will be disappearing behind that sunflower. Excellent. Right, so what do we have here? Oh, here we can imagine is another leaf. Then that will be the sky. So we're having another leaf. Oh, great, yes, this leaf can come from the stem. And then let's see. Yes, then here, let's just put in another leaf behind. Like I mentioned, if it sounds complicated, you are welcome to stick to this template. As you see, there are also those different just shapes of leaves. Right, girls. And then here, let me just see how we're going to do this. Here at the bottom bit, we can put another bit of leaf there. Great, with your ziggy-zaggies. Fill them in afterwards. And a vein. Just put the middle vein first and then that vein. Great, and then here in between, you can just have maybe another zigzag shape as if there's a leaf going behind there. Okay, and maybe there too. I always tend to make things quite complicated. You can simplify it more. Right, so that's all done. So here, what can we do here? Let's see what we've done there. Let's just follow that. There's a ziggy-zaggy there and a vein. Okay, so that would be another, oops, let me just erase that. Another leaf maybe going into a more kind of horizontal vein. That one's diagonal. Right, so what do we have higher up? Let's just follow this. There's that shape there, and that, and then that, and another shape. Okay, and then here at the top, we're not going to do all of that. We're maybe just going to have, oopsie, I don't know, you can't see. Did you see that? I actually now just started following the template on the sides. And here we are going to have another leaf on the other side. Please message me if you think this is too complicated the way I'm explaining it to you. Please let me know. Okay, girls. There we go. And then there's There's the stem, one leaf on either side, and another little ziggy-zaggy design. And those veins, and those veins. Okay, so let's have a look. Yes, maybe we'll just, out of interest sake, because we've got a nice leaf curling up there, let's have another leaf coming in here on this side, also curling up. And that will finish it off. There we go, with a ziggy-zaggy. Great. And now the top section will all be blue sky, and these are our leaves. Right, so I'm going to just show you, let me just take the phone and show it to you. Great, so I've drawn the stem, one big leaf that side, another leaf that side. Then you can fill the negative spaces in with whatever kind of angle of line or ziggy-zaggy you want. Then I've put in that leaf there. I've put in basically another just leaf shape of zigzags, sections of it. I've put a curled one coming in. That's one stem and the two leaves on either side. Just like that one stem, two leaves on either side. Yes, and then here's also that flower stem with one leaf and one leaf that side. And then I've painted like another stem curling that side and filling in the negative spaces just with kind of zigzag designs. And there I've drawn another leaf behind with a bit of a curl. Right, so that is the basic principle of it. Great, girls. Let me just show you some of the other girls, what they have done thus far. There we go. So you see the shapes in between, we just fill up with, okay, there's mine, I've done mine. You just fill it up with different tones of green. A tone is when you add black to the green. A tint is when you add white to the green. But I haven't actually added white in your kit, but you can add yellows to your greens. Right, as long as the shapes next to one another are different tones. Okay, there we go. Great. So let's continue. Okay, so this is the basic shape, the design of a sunflower leaf. Okay, so we are going to do these shapes and also stems. And as mentioned, in between we are just going to fill in the spaces, the negative spaces with different tones and tints of green. Great, so, oopsie, sorry for that noise. So, of course, if you feel that you want to follow this design, you are most welcome to. You can draw it out and then you can just follow the technique of painting that I am showing. Otherwise, I have started here on this. Just remember we are cutting off a section here, so that will be cut off once when I'm going to frame the artworks. Okay, so here is our big sunflower, and then we are going to draw a stem there underneath, and then we are going to draw these sunflower leaves. If you look at the actual design of the leaf, it is, if you have to turn it around, it is like a heart shape. Right, so it's like a heart shape. And well, if we draw it the leaf facing upwards, it's upside down heart. Right, so there we go. So let's draw that. So we're going to fit that in behind the petals. There we go. So first we draw, well, we can just fit in sections of it. First we draw the actual leaf, and then afterwards the sunflower leaves have got these kind of zigzaggy edges, and then we fill in the zigzags afterwards. It's just a lot easier that way. Great. So there we go, and then we put in a vein in the center. Oops. We are going to keep it quite simple. Where is my eraser? Just one moment, please. Right, girls, so I've just checked. So far, this video is plus minus 16 minutes long. And preferably the video shouldn't be longer than like 25 minutes. So we've got about 14 minutes left. I might have to do learning how to paint the leaves A and a B tutorial. So this is the painting the leaves A, and then I'll finish with another tutorial. I'll just call it B, painting the leaves B. Right, so now let me explain to you the colors that I've taken out of my little containers. Right, so I've taken out the neon and the yellow, the lemon yellow, then the lighter green and the darker green, and then I've mixed the darker green with some black, and then I've got just plain pure black. Right, so there we go. That's my palette. So what we do, we start off with painting I'm just quickly going to get my other paintbrush. There we go. I'm back right now. Yes. Okay. So you've got the blue paintbrush. Well, I'm just using a similar one. It's just I like working with this particular paintbrush. Excellent. So now what you do is you take your lemon yellow and you paint your veins. So you start with I always put my pinky on the paper for support. You start with the center vein. I have erased the pencil a little bit, so you might not see it clearly. All right, so there we go. And then the side veins. Okay, there the pencil is showing through, so I'm just going to do it a bit on the side. And the other one. So very basic, very easy. We are going to use the same technique now that we have used in painting the petals, painting wet in wet. Okay, so we're going to take the lighter green, I think it's called apple green. Excuse me, my little froggy reappeared again, one moment. Right, so we're taking the apple green and we're painting a whole section in the apple green. There we go. And then we're going to, oh, excuse me. That's better. And add your zigzags. If you want to take your other brush, if that's easier to paint the zigzags. Oh, sorry, to paint the zigzags. There we go. Oops, now usually if there's a leaf behind the sunflower, we're going to make it a little bit darker, just to show that it's behind. Excellent. There we go. Right, so now we've painted this lighter green. So now we're going to clean our paintbrush and dry it. And then we're going to take the slightly darker green. Let's see how that works. And then just like we did with our petal, we're going to pull it and darken it. There's actually not much difference between these two tones. So let's add a tiny bit of the darker, the green mixed with the black mixture. So it's not too dark, but there is still a slight difference. Yes, that's better. And then we paint it wet in wet. There we go. And we pull it out. And then we clean our brush and we dry it thoroughly. And then we take the neon yellow and we take it to the edge where the little zigzags are. Don't worry if you go over the edge. You can always fix that up when you paint the leaf in the background. Right. And then just like we dragged the light color from the top to the bottom, we are now doing the same with the leaf. Right, so there we go. So you've got a nice three-dimensional leaf. However, if the leaf is behind a petal, let's see, then we have to do it a bit darker, as if it's throwing a shadow. So you can also experiment. It's you know the basic principle now of working wet in wet. And even if in some sections, like here it would be maybe a little bit lighter on this leaf and darker on that side, that's also fine because the sun can catch the leaf in different areas. You can get like sunny spots. So if it's a little bit irregular, it makes it actually quite more interesting. Right, so there we go. We paint our base color, so to speak. Oopsie, sorry. Yeah, afterwards we're going to go over the yellow with a very thin wash of paint, just also so it's not flat, it looks more 3D. We're going to give it some tone just in the center, I'll show you. Right, so here we've painted. You might have to, let me just take the excess paint off. You might have to change to your finer paint brush for these corners. There we go. And then we're going to take the darker paint and actually pull it down, and we'll just see where we're going to put the light. We'll put a bit of dark there too, maybe just a bit of light in the center. Right, so let's stick to what we did do. We take this green and a bit of black. Okay, and we put it there by the central vein and we pull it out. We're not going to pull out too much because I think we're going to put a bit of neon in the center because we can't put neon on the edge because the edge is under the sunflower. Okay, so let's do that. And then we're actually going to just put a little bit of neon a bit closer. Oops, let me try to clean it properly. We're going to put neon more here, blend it in. There we go. Such fun painting. You can of course give this another coat too and build it up if you've got the time. Right, and now I'm going to take the darker green that I've mixed with the black and I'm going to go there behind the petal. Can you see? Whoops, yes. Behind the petal. There we go. Drag it down a bit. And there as well. If you have too much green and you drag it down, your whole section of the leaf will be dark. So rather just excuse me, just wipe off the excess, or just like get rid of the excess green. And then you clean your brush, for instance, and then you drag it down before, otherwise it's going to be too dark. Okay, and then we throw like a nice little shadow there. Oops. There we go. With a nice dry brush now. Okay. This is actually called scumbling, if you're almost like polishing. So paint has become a bit dry and the brush is clean and dry. And I like blend it in like that now. Okay. And then you can also take your other green and you can experiment if you want to put a bit more over that, if it looks a bit patchy, before it dries too much. There we go. Great. So that's how you do that, girls. So I'm not going to now paint all the segments. You know what to do. If you're behind the petals, you would do it slightly darker. Otherwise, you paint the neon on the edge. Just clean that up. You can clean your brush, and then you can just wipe off the excess green if it's gone onto the orange or yellow petal. Great. And then once you've painted both sides, we're going to take this lighter green and just mix a little bit of water with it. And then we're going to wash over that green in the center. But we're not going to, just in the center, and leave it lighter at the end. Obviously, if it's under a petal, you would also just put a thin wash there. Okay, now because it's acrylic, the paint underneath won't dissolve. So you can just make it look a little bit 3D by putting a thin wash of green over that yellow, so it's not all flat. But like I say, I'm leaving it a bit lighter. Let me just under that petal do it a little bit darker. So you can see it's a bit lighter in the middle. It's not completely flat. Okay, this is how you would do it. You can actually go on it and just gently put some okay, that's a bit much then. You take off the excess and then you just kind of polish over it. There we go. So it also creates form, the element of form, which is making something look 3D. Great. Okay, girls, so you will continue with that. How much time do we have left? Let me just quickly show you. So now, at the back, you would paint obviously because this is behind, this would be darker. You would paint, okay, if you want to, your vein would then be just a green because everything is darker, right? And so, and then you would paint this darker so that the shapes stand out from one another. Okay. So let me move on to the bigger brush. There we go. And then that could be black there, right? If you want to give this a tiny bit of, and that would also be darker under the petal, you understand? If you want to give it a tiny bit of a kind of tonal blending, you can. Make it interesting. Okay. So you think, oh, maybe a tiny bit of green up there could just give it a nice little edge. There we go. And then this section here, I would add more black, for instance. There we go. And then that would be also nice and dark. I must say the very dark green, almost black green, works very nice with the orange. It really makes it pop out. There we go. You decide, oh, it's maybe a bit too dark, then you add the other green on top. Now I'm even just blending it on the paper, look at me. And then there we go. Great, and this is going to be absolutely beautiful for all these different tones of green. The main thing is the shapes you have next to one another must kind of pop out. They mustn't be the same tonally. As you can see here, this green is very dark and that one is lighter, so that you can differentiate. Okay, there we go. Right. So that's behind there. And now, once this is dry, I'm also going to put a bit of green just there over that vein, also just to make it look 3D like I did there with a bit of a darker green. Right, girls, so that's basically how you would do it. And then, let me just quickly show you also, I don't know how we're doing time-wise. The stem is very basic. Once the stems are so easy, you just do your usual green, your lighter green in this case, and then you do it a bit darker under the petals. There we go. Right, and then we take a bit of a darker color here, and then we go underneath there, almost like a shadow. Oh, can you see? Almost like a shadow being cast. So I've put my lighter green and then my darker green. And then you see, oh, it's a lot of green. If I drag all of that down, my whole stem will be one dark green tone. So you take a bit off excess, clean your brush. Try not to put paint with, if there's still paint on your brush, to clean your brush with it. Always put the excess paint off on your palette so we don't waste. Okay, and then you kind of just blend it in like that. Drag it down wet and wet. Girls, I'm just going to look at the time and then how much time we've got left, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, thank you. Oh gosh, girls, we've actually gone over our time, so I'll have to finish now. So I'll call this Painting of Sunflower Leaves, Lesson 3A. And I'm going to continue now with Lesson 3B, but I will send that to you next time. And that will probably be also, yes, that will definitely be our last painting tutorial. Great, girls. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay, now we're saying goodbye to grade 7N. Bye. Bye-bye, girls. Bye. Bye. You may go. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There we go.